Hello everyone, this is Chinmay Patil. I'm going to explain you about hypothesis testing from the subject business statistics. Hypothesis testing. There are two types of hypothesis testing, chi-square and ANOVA. A chi-square test is a data analysis on the basis of observations of a random set of variables. Usually it is a comparison of two statistical data sets. This test was first introduced by Carl Pearson in the year 1900. So it is also mentioned as Pearson's chi-square test. In chi-square test, there is null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. Null hypothesis means there is no relationship between the variables or two variables of which the hypothesis testing is done. And alternate hypothesis shows that there is significant relationship between the two variables that is to be checked. A chi-square test is represented symbolically as x square. ANOVA. ANOVA was developed by Ronald Fisher. ANOVA stands for Analysis of Variance. One-way analysis of variance tells us if are any statistical differences between the means of three or more independent groups. Difference between chi-square and ANOVA. A one-way ANOVA analysis is used to compare means of more than two groups, while a chi-square test is used to explore the relationship between two categorical variables. In hypothesis, the null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis is shown in this graph. Chi-square test. 2 times of number of degrees freedom is equal to the variance. The number of degrees of freedom is equal to the mean of distribution. The chi-square distribution curves approaches the normal distribution when the degree of freedom increases. Properties of ANOVA test. It enables us to test for the significance of the differences among more than two sample means. Using ANOVA, we will be able to make inferences about whether our samples are drawn from population having the same mean. Here is a sum solved through chi-square test formula. A chi-square test formula is x square is equal to summation of observations minus expected observations combined whole square upon expected observation. Here, a survey has been taken to determine that 60% of car owners have only one car, 28% of have two cars, and 12% of three cars or more. Supposing that we have decided to conduct our own survey and the data has been collected, the significance level of 0.05 has been taken. So given out that 129 car owners are there, 73 had one car, 38 had two car. Let us find out the solution. In this, H0 means null hypothesis, H1 means alternate hypothesis. A choice for goodness of fit test is appropriate because we are examining the distribution of single categorical value. So observed value, expected value are calculated accordingly in this table. Then observed minus expected values is calculated. Then observed minus expected, the whole square is calculated. Then the observed minus whole expected values, the whole square upon expected value has been calculated. The summation is done accordingly. So 0.7533 is the summation of 0.2501, 0.1, 0.4031. So the degrees of freedom has been calculated, and using the table of critical value for the significance level of 0.05, the DF is equal to 2, that is 5.99. So accordingly, we have taken the chi-square formula and the sum has been solved accordingly. Example of ANOVA test and assumptions of ANOVA test. Comparing the mileage of 5 different brands of cars, testing which of the 4 different training methods produces the fastest learning record, comparing the average salary of 3 different companies. In each of these cases, we would compare the means of more than 2 samples. Sample means F distribution is used to analyze certain situation. Assumptions made. Populations are normally distributed. Samples are random and independent. Population variances are equal. When to use what? When to use chi-square test versus ANOVA test? As a basic rule of thumb, use chi-square test when every variable you are working with is categorical. Use ANOVA test when you have at least one categorical variable and one continuous independent variable. So that's it for today. Thank you. My name is Chinmay Patil. My roll number is MB22093 and my batch 202224.